Hello, Mrs. Broderick. My name is Anne. I understand that you're aware that your friend Susan called us about your situation. You and I have discussed my role as a victim services worker on the phone. Do you have any questions before we begin?
Thank you, dear. Not just yet. You can call me Martha.
Okay, make yourself comfortable and please tell me what you're most concerned about at the moment.
I'm afraid of losing my home. If Thomas, that's my husband, if he goes into a care facility, he'll lose his old age security. And I can't pay the bills on my old age pension. He's got dementia, you know.
When was he diagnosed with dementia?
2 years ago. The doctor says it's likely Alzheimer's disease. It's 5 years now and it's getting worse. Sometimes I'm quite scared.
You say you feel scared. Could you talk a little more about being scared?
Sometimes I don't feel safe. He has threatened me and he grabs and shakes me. He accuses me of stealing money. Sometimes he doesn't even know who I am.
Has this happened before he was diagnosed?
No, we had a good relationship. I can manage. I'm just concerned about losing my apartment.
I understand your concern about losing your home. Do you own your home or do you rent?
No, we've been in the same apartment for 15 years. And I'm not leaving.
Martha, I'm not sure whether you would have to leave your house if Thomas has to go into a care facility. I'd like to put you in touch with a legal advocate who can explain to you what may happen. There may be a solution. Would you like me to refer you?
Well, I guess so. But I'm not leaving.
For now, we'll just get the information from the legal advocate. You'll be able to make your own decision with the advice that you get. Right now, though, I'm concerned about your safety. You told me that Thomas has threatened you several times. Can you tell me what you've done in the past to keep yourself safe?
I go to my neighbours, Susan or Gail's. 3 of us have been good friends for a long time. I find I'm spending more and more time at Susan's house. Just to have some time away from Thomas. Once, after he shook me, I ran to Susan's house, but she wasn't in, so I spent several hours sitting on her back patio waiting for her to come home. It was cold and I didn't have a coat, but I was scared to go home. I was afraid he was going to hit me. They're good friends. They help me. I tell them everything.
Martha, do you have any grandchildren living with you?
No, our grandchildren live in Montreal with my daughter and her husband.
I'd like to help you develop a safety plan so that you feel safer. Is that okay?
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay. There are some questions I'd like to ask you which will be helpful in developing a plan. There are some parts of the plan we should go over in a little more detail. Where is your phone located?
There's one in the kitchen and there's one in the bedroom.
Are they easy to get to?
Well, they were, but I'm not as tidy as I used to be, what with having to take care of Thomas.
Would you be able to make sure all the rooms are accessible? Can you get someone to help you?
Susan's offered to help. I could ask her.
Okay. Have you ever thought about maybe getting a cell phone or a panic button in case your phone isn't available?
No, I haven't. Thomas can't handle the stairs well, so he spends most of his time in his study watching TV.
Are you okay getting up and down the stairs?
Yeah, and there's a telephone up there.
Okay. We can put the numbers that you need to call into the speed dial if you're comfortable with that technology.
No. Oh, no.
How about putting the numbers of your friends and your address and phone number close to the phone to make it easier to make a call? Please also let me know if you'd consider getting a cell phone that would only be used to dial 911. It's important for you to think about your level of safety and take steps to protect yourself. It's also important for you to know that the abuse is not okay and it's not your fault. We could have a police officer speak to you about what would happen if you were to call them. You told me over the phone that you were afraid to call the police. If you understand what will happen if you call them, you'll be able to make a decision about whether you want to call them or not.
Can I talk to you about this later?
You mentioned that you can drive. Would you be able to drive at night?
No, I don't feel comfortable driving at night.
For now, it would be a good idea to keep your car keys somewhere where you can find them easily. We can talk about whether calling the police would be an option for you at a later time when you feel more comfortable.
That's a good idea. I've been forgetful lately.
When someone's stressed, it's quite normal to be forgetful.
Oh, I'm glad you told me that. I was beginning to think I had Alzheimer's as well.
If your friends are not available, I'd like to give you a number to call so that you have a place to stay if they're not available. There's a transition house that caters to older adults. You wouldn't have to be out in the cold if your friends are away.
I don't want to leave our apartment. Thomas spent months renovating it. It was our last project together. I just want my husband back.
I'm sorry you and Thomas are going through such a difficult time.
So what now?
I'd like to put you in touch with the Alzheimer's Association. They have a lot of information, as well as a support group, which I think you'll find helpful. They'll also tell you about the stages of Alzheimer's and what you can expect in the future. There are ways to communicate with a person that has Alzheimer's that makes it easier for them to be active in life.
That does make sense. I was afraid to reach out.
I think that once you have the information, you'll find it easier to cope. You've been doing an amazing job of coping so far, and I think this information will really help you. We've spent a lot of time talking about Thomas. How are you doing, Martha?
Oh, tired, I guess. I do cook all the meals and do all the shopping and pay all the bills and clean the house and help bathe him. So I guess it's all become a little bit too much. I love my husband, but I just want some time on my own. I used to be a journalist. I miss reading and writing.
It may be possible that you can get some help to take care of Thomas. That way you can go back to doing the things you love to do. I can put you in touch with home and community care. They may be able to do an assessment of Thomas and possibly provide some home support. It's also a good idea for Thomas to see his doctor again. You could discuss that with a social worker at home and community care. We've been through a lot of information today. You've made notes in your book. Could you give me a call if there's anything you have any questions about? You can let me know how you'd like to proceed, and if anything in your situation changes, please let me know. We may have to make changes to your safety plan. I'd like to invite you and your friends, Susan and Gail, back to the office if they'd like to help you with your plan. I'm here to help you during this difficult time.
Thank you, Anne.